Hey folks, Dan Goleman here, and I am today exploring Korg's new Minilogue XD, which is an expanded version of the original Minilogue. This time it's using the Prologue filter, and it also has a joystick which is assignable. It has the Prologue's effects section. We can import user oscillators into the multi-engine, which is a digital engine here. Yeah, lots of nice changes compared to the original, although the original still has its own unique features such as a 2 and 4 pole filter, and it's got a very different sound to this, but this one sounds fantastic. And one of the things I want to show you is how to make a triple oscillator sound using the 2 VCOs here and the multi-engine as well for some extra juiciness. So I've started off here with an initial preset, and when you start off it'll sound like this, which is a single VCO set to I think it's a saw wave, as far as I know, or a triangle wave even. Let's see. Yeah, it's a saw wave. And it sounds like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce some of VCO2 into the mix. Again on a saw wave here, as you can see. And set them to the same footages. I'm just going to pitch them an octave down there using the octave switch. And you can hear the nice sort of phasey quality of those VCOs together. Now if we use the pitch control here, we can add a nice amount of beating there to the sound as well, and just to give some extra vibe. Now the next thing I'd probably want to do, just to make that sound a little bit more interesting, is to use some shape modulation. Each of the VCOs and the multi-engine has a variable shape parameter which changes the width of the wave and consequently the sound. So what we would do is, I'm going to use the LFO here sent to the shape parameter. So and I've just tweaked the intensity amount here, so you hear it with 0. And we can tweak the rate as well here. We set it to normal mode. We've got 3 different modes. We've got one-shot mode, which just goes through a single cycle and stops. We've got normal mode, which is the normal LFO mode, and we also have BPM, which is BPM locked. Anyway, so at the moment this rate is a free rate, so we can just tweak it to a level we want. And in conjunction with that, we actually can tweak the shape parameters as well. And also tweak the waves to see what different tonalities we can get. Now at the moment that's quite a hard sounding sound, so this is where we start to employ the filter. And first of all, I'm going to pull down the cutoff. I'm going to add a little bit more detuning as well, actually, just to thicken the sound slightly. Now you can also do that using the voice mode step dial here, which gives you a duo mode. Which stacks 2 voices on each key. Obviously, if you go up to full, it halves the voice count down to 2. So just bear that in mind. Anyway, I'm not going to use that. I just wanted to show you that. But that sounds nice and thick there. So we have a saw and a square, and we are varying the shape of both via the LFO. Now we can also experiment with cross mod, which adds even more vibe to the sound. And ring modulation as well, which gives a more grainy texture. Quite like that effect there, so I'm going to leave that on. So we've got a little bit of cross mod and some ring mod going on as well. Now I'm going to go back to the filter, which I started working on. Up to now I've only used the filter cutoff, but I'm going to dial in some resonance and just balance that with the master output, because you can get distortion happening. The resonance kind of boosts the high mids. Around there sounds good, about half. Now we can kick in the 2-position drive switch as well, which adds even more kind of what I call fibre to the overall sound. And these all, you've got to balance all these different parameters together, you know, the filter cutoff, the resonance, the drive, and the levels of the VCOs in the mixer as well. You balance that all together to get the kind of amount of furriness you want in the sound, or cleanness. You know, just to show you, if I back the drive back off at the resonance, you get a much cleaner sound. Drive back in to 50%, and some resonance. Adds a lot more body to the sound and presence. Right, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to introduce the multi-engine, which is just down here. Now this is a digital engine, and it comes with various preset waves, and you can also import your own user oscillators as well. Now there are quite a few great ones on the Prologue at the moment, but they haven't made it across to the XD yet, because obviously it's very new, but I don't think it'll be very long till they do end up here. So today I'm just going to be working with what's already here, what it ships with initially. First off, I want to go to the Vpn mode, which is the second mode down here, and this is essentially an FM implementation. It's got 16 different waves that you can work with, and in the menus there's also various parameters that you can tweak as well. So let's first of all, I don't want to route the multi-engine through the filter. So there's in the menu you can actually, if I can find it, here we are. This button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Button 6, multi-routing. I want it to be post VCF, which means it doesn't route through the filter. Now if I turn it up here, now that may sound like it's being filtered, but in fact that's our shape parameter that we set in a few steps back, modulating the sound, the sine wave. And what's nice about the fact that you can bypass the filter is that you can have quite a dark sounding VCO based sound and then just layer a more kind of harmonically rich, brighter sound on the top without it being filtered, which is very handy. Now there are other options in the menu for tweaking the multi-engine, as well as the different waves that we have here, all these different ones, so you can flick through them for different effects. It's a very versatile setup. I kind of like the effect of the initial sine wave there. Gave a nice fat rich tone which I wanted to bring out in the sound. So I'm going to stick with sine 1. Let's tweak a few of the parameters here, such as the feedback, so you can hear what that's doing. Got noise depth as well. So even though this is just 3 oscillators, within the multi-engine itself you can give the effect of several different oscillators happening. If you start adding in noise and an actual wave, it's a very powerful setup. I really like that sound. It's got a lot of texture and movement. Obviously we can tweak that in real time as we go along, which is the beauty of a synth like this. It's got so many tweakable parameters on the front. We can also you can mess with the intensity of the shape mod. So if you want less, you can back that off a bit, or add more. And then there's actually an envelope as well, just for the multi-engine. You can hear more when the LFO is not routed to the shape mod. So there's a lot to work with there. Let's kick our LFO to shape mode back in. Now I want to add a bit of release on the sound to add a bit more atmosphere. And we can also send the second envelope to the pitch of oscillator 2 only, which gives quite interesting effects. Send it to the cutoff of the filter. Again, just tweak the filter cutoff to taste. So you can hear how that sounds like a blend of VCOs and FM type sounds, which actually it is. Funnily enough. Now, let's add some modulation effect from these lovely effects that are here. So let's try a few different ones of ensemble. I like the sound of the flanger there, it's only great. If you hold shift and move this, you can select, effect select switch here, and you can select different presets for each of the effect types. So maybe add a little portamento in. Now let's add in a reverb. I like these, there's a couple, the space is really nice reverb. Depth, the time. What's also nice in the menu, you can go to the LFO voice sync, turn that off, and you can also set which oscillators the LFO targets as well. So we can just go VCO 1 and 2, not the multi-engine, which allows the multi-engine's own envelope to come into play a bit more. And the beauty of the Minilogue XD is you can have simultaneous effects as well. So we can actually, we've got our flanger, we've got our reverb, and we can also switch delay on as well. Just press exit here. And select the type. So a ping pong delay. Then you can tweak away once you've got your basic sound. Select each effect, tweak the depth. There we have our 3 oscillator Minilogue XD preset.